Okay, here we go. Star Wars Galaxies with the jump to light speed. Okay, so this will be the same username and password that you use to log into the SWGEMU website, and I already have one. Hitting enter doesn't do anything, you have to click next. I already have several characters, but I'm going to create a new one just for you guys. This is the test server, so we don't want that. They reset the servers pretty frequently, so you can jump on there to test out whatever the devs are developing next. But this will actually keep all of your data. So we want to select Basilisk. Okay, so this brings us to the species selection. Scroll button doesn't work. And over here it gives us whatever the individual attributes are of the race. This is basically the maximum. And then it gives you whatever the species features are, which are special abilities of this species. So there's human, Rhodian. This is Greedo, if you remember him. Mon Calamari, General Akbar, if you remember him. Actually, let's go back to Rhodian. So you can see that they are quick in action, quickness, and stamina, along with some willpower. We're actually going to get into these stats later. But this is just a base stat. This isn't the actual statistics for the game. And then there are specific abilities for this race. And this doesn't really have a whole lot to play in the game, really. So it would really be more of you picking one of these for whichever it is that you want to play. Mon Calamari is very strong in this area, and again, we'll get into that later. And the Mon Calamari are actually very good at assembly, which is for the crafting. The Bothan are little dog people, and you can see their stats. The Wookiee, there's something important to note. Not all of the species can wear full armor. So I realize that a lot of people would want to play a Wookiee if they could, but a Wookiee cannot wear regular armor. They did add in a patch later on that brought in Wookiee armor, just like in episode 3 where Kashyyyk is being attacked. But because there's very little demand, there's very little supply, and with very little supply comes high prices. So I don't recommend anybody to pick a Wookiee as their first or primary character. That's just a general recommendation there. The Twi'leks, if you remember Jabba's palace, the green girl that was eaten by the big... Oh, no, I forgot the name. Awkward silence. Nope, can't think of the name. Brain fart. Anyway, Twi'leks are pretty common in the galaxy. Transdoshans cannot wear gloves because they have weird hands, and they cannot wear boots because they have weird feet. They do have, come on, a couple of nice features. They actually regenerate. So if you just sit down on the ground and your health is damaged, then it will regenerate a lot faster because of this regeneration. But it's actually only by 1 point. So this really shouldn't be something that is used to determine whether or not you want to play this. The fact that you can't wear gloves or boots means you will not be able to have the highest possible armor rating. Zabrak. In episode 1 you had Darth Maul, and he's a Zabrak. Despite the fact that he has horns on his helmet, he can actually wear a helmet, so that's worth noting. Oh, the Mon Calamari cannot wear a helmet, so that's the Zabrak. The Ithorians are slugs, and they actually do make for pretty good melee people. However, like the Wookiees, Ithorians have to have special Ithorian armor, and that prevents you from being able to find them commonly. So that's sort of a problem. And Celestians are normal humanoids, so they are able to wear anything you like. I'm going to pick Twi'lek. Oh, and this button here changes the species. In Star Wars Galaxies, like most MMOs, male and female don't have any actual relevancy to the effectiveness of the character. So you can pick a female if you want to. I'm male, so I'm going to pick that. I'm actually pretty tall myself, so I'm going to go tall. I'm fairly muscular, not maybe that muscular. Right about there. And let's see. We can rotate the characters so we can see what's going on. Nope, don't look like that. And that's sort of me, except I don't have Likus on my head. Now, as far as skin color, I already have a purple Twi'lek, so let's go red. That's more of a tan color, isn't it? Then the marking colors. Let's go... No. That's sort of a nice color. Eyes and nose, don't really care. Yeah, don't care. And don't care. Freckles, you can actually customize how many freckles you want, but really, this is not that important because people can't see. They're not going to be that close to you. Yeah, I like that. And we click next. Okay, so here we get into the starting profession. Now, I'll tell you that the starting profession really doesn't have any significance on your character. Whatever you start as doesn't really matter because you can get something else and then give up the previous thing. What does matter is what you start the game with. So you start the game with these clothes. You can see the scout has very nice clothes. I actually like the scout clothing. But brawler has this nice jacket. And then marksman over here, that's not really a bad shirt, really. But also, you have items in your inventory from when you start. So, a crafter who has these really dumb pants. I gotta say, they are just dumb. But all characters start out with a survival knife, a CDEF pistol, and a Mirage melon. It's kind of like a cantaloupe. But what you get from your starting profession, the entertainer, here the guy in the white, starts off with a musical instrument, 2 musical instruments, I think. The marksman starts off with a pistol, a carbine, and a rifle. The brawler, over here, starts off with a second knife. Why you get 2 knives, I don't know. A sword, which is one-handed, and an axe, which is two-handed. The scout starts off... Actually, I don't think the scout gets anything beyond the CDEF pistol and the Mirage melon. Oh, actually, the scout gets a crafting tool. But the artisan actually gets a crafting tool, a CDEF pistol, and they get a sampling tool. Sampling tool is incredibly important, especially if you are a new character. So my recommendation to everybody would be to start off as an artisan even though they get these goofy clothes. So let's click next. I really should have looked at the list of names I had on my other characters. I always use Fire Eye as my surname. And let's see. Mycena. Now, the character biography is not really important, but there are people that prefer to roleplay in the game. And if they roleplay, then the character biography starts the scene and the ambiance, if you will, for whoever it is your character happens to be. So let's see. He was the son of a factory worker at a droid plant on Naboo. And let's see, what was Mommy doing? Mommy was a librarian. Let's keep that short. Over here is the tutorial. I don't know if the tutorial works yet, but with the tutorial, it'll actually tell you basically how to play the game. I guess I should leave that on so you guys can see the tutorial. I usually don't play with the tutorial, but skills, novice artisan, attributes. We can't change that yet. That'll be during the tutorial. So let's go next.
Welcome to Star Wars Galaxies.
Well, thank you.
Keys to move, or hold down the right mouse button to move forward. You can look around by moving your mouse. Using the mouse wheel, scroll forward to zoom into your character. Notice that if you zoom in all the way, you'll be in first-person mode. Scroll backwards to zoom out of your character and into third-person mode. You can also zoom your camera in and out by pressing the keypad plus and minus keys. Try zooming between first and third person.
Yay. I love tutorials. And we are limited to creating one character per hour because you can cheat.
Type here to speak to fellow players. Go ahead and try it. Just type what you want to say and then press enter.
I said hi.
This is your hologram.
Whoa.
You can access it by pressing Control H. Whenever you need information
It's also a button down here.
about galaxies, press Control H to find it in your holocron. To close this screen, press Control H again.
Somewhere. Holocron. Okay, so it's this button here with the little hand. And bye-bye.
Excellent. Come through the door and down the hallway there.
Okay. Let's see if there's anything to loot. Nothing over there. You would figure they would have put stuff here to steal.
Keep you waiting all day.
What if I wanna? What about that? Oh, I'm in the dark. So if I hit Control L,
Move forward
boom,
and click and hold your mouse on the Imperial
I have a light.
until the radio menu appears.
So we click and hold.
See the option to converse. Now you're in a conversation. You can choose one of the responses to the right with your mouse.
That's a little more like it. Well, you're a supply disbursement officer. Actually, I'm your supply disbursement officer. I don't see why we should waste good supplies on refugees like you. That's rude, lady. Boom. What happened?
You don't speak to other players this way. Just type to talk to other players. When you are finished conversing with the Imperial officer, select the Stop Conversing option.
You people, you're all the same. Look, you were on a ship with a dubious credentials. The Star Destroyer hailed you and you didn't stop fast enough. So they boarded and brought the survivors over here. Basically, they shot down the ship I was on, and now they have to deal with me. So my response is, the survivors? You mean the Emperor killed the civilian passengers? Yep.
To open the box,
They weren't civilians, they were dissidents, officially anyway. Now go get your free supplies from this drum here, courtesy of the generosity of the Empire. Why, thank you. So I came from over there.
you might
Oh,
find something in the box box you need, click and hold your mouse button down on the box until you see the radio menu.
Stop talking. I'm talking. I'm making a YouTube video. So, if you notice, the mouse is constrained. So, I don't have to move very far to be able to move the cursor. But, if I hit the Alt key, now my mouse is no longer constrained, and I have access to move stuff around the window. A commenter, you can't talk to commenters. And if it doesn't highlight anything, like she's highlighted, then you can't get it. Oh, that's the drum. Okay. She pointed like she meant one of those things.
Great. Now select the Open option. You can take these items by clicking and holding until you get the radio menu option on each item. Pick up all the items and then click the X in the upper right-hand corner of the container to close the box.
Thanks. So everybody gets a Mirage Melon. Artisans get a generic crafting tool, a mineral survey device, and a chemical survey device. This is the most important one, and you should always find a way to save an extra one in case you delete it. I've done that. It's horrible. It'll ruin your year. And now everybody gets an X31 speeder. So if we find our inventory,
You've put the item in your inventory.
and I'm just clicking and dragging, this is my inventory, where you can see I'm wearing clothes. These are the things I just took from the crate, and this is the contents of the crate, now 0. Boom.
That your mouse mode
Boom.
changed when you opened that container. You can toggle the mouse mode yourself with the Alt key. You can examine your inventory by pressing Ctrl-I. Scroll through your inventory until you locate one of the food items that you just picked up. Select the Use option to use this item.
It's actually called Eat, and I'm not going to do that, because I want to keep my melon. I have very nice melons.
Converse with the Imperial officer.
He looks kind of shady.
This is an item dispenser. You can use it to buy basic items in the game. In addition to the basic item dispensers, you'll find a number of terminals that will connect you to the Galactic Bazaar. Everything from large quantities of resources to specialized items. Banks let you deposit and withdraw cash on hand. You can also use the bank to store items. You can only retrieve your items from the bank in which you stored the item. You can only store items in the bank you've joined. Although you can change banks at any time, you can only be a member of one bank at a time. You can spend credits from your bank account at most terminals. When you find hard credits, cash on hand, be sure to deposit them in your bank as soon as possible to avoid losing them.
Unlike World of Warcraft, you actually have 2 reserves of money. So you have cash in that's in your pocket, and you have money that's actually in the bank, which this is the bank terminal. So you can slide the bank terminal back and forth. So I've got 1,100 credits. Well, it seems your ship wasn't carrying contraband after all. Pity we didn't discover that sooner. What did you do to my ship? Well, we suspected you were smuggling, so we boarded the transport you were traveling aboard. Of course, don't worry. You've been cleared of all charges. The ship is actually, burning. But, Can I get back on board the transport now? I'm afraid not. It seems your ship was badly damaged, and most of your possessions were destroyed. What am I supposed to do now? Don't worry, we've taken care of everything. They gave me a melon. We've given you more than enough credits to reimburse you for your loss. You can deposit them in the banking terminal. What about my supplies and equipment? When you get to a planet, look for commodities market and buy anything you might possibly need. That's nice. I was carrying my grandmother's antique handkerchief. Can you give that back to me at the bazaar? I think not. So when you die, you have a possibility of losing your cash on hand, or a percentage of your cash on hand. So you should always dump as much cash as you have in the bank, minus a little bit for tipping. So it's always a good idea to put most of your money in the bank. And when you click and hold on something, it brings up this radial menu, and then you have your options around. Sometimes these will be buttons, like this is a button, but this is actually a drop down. Or I guess in this case it's a drop up. Join bank is what we'll do on our starter planet, not here. Quit bank. Safety deposit is actually a place for you to put things, like the bank on World of Warcraft. But we don't want to do that here because we're not part of the bank and we didn't join. Deposit all credits and withdraw all credits. So we don't want to do that. And then doesn't work. Must be Imperial. I'm guessing I should go this way. I kind of interrupted her.
Move down the ramp towards the cloning and insurance terminals.
Oh, okay. Right now we are on an Imperial Star Destroyer. Which is kind of neat, isn't it? Nothing to loot. Q3PO. I'm here to explain cloning and insurance. Where would you like to begin? Okay, so what happens when you die in World of Warcraft is you die, you turn into a ghost, your ghost appears in the graveyard, and then you have to run back to your body, and then you can start all over again. This game is quite a bit different. Not everything in the game will kill you. So if you run out and you start a fight with something, it will most likely just incapacitate you. So you'll fall down on the ground, you'll get a little timer window, it'll scroll down to the bottom, and then you'll get back up. If you get knocked down too many times in a certain time frame, then you will actually be dead. There are what's called aggressive creatures and NPCs. If an aggressive creature or NPC is within range of you while you are incapacitated, then it will death blow you and you will die. If you die, you appear at a station similar to this called the cloning terminal. And then you have no health. You have to wait for it to come back and yada yada. You will also incur, and I can't show you because I don't have my own stats up here yet. But your health bar will actually get smaller and the difference will appear as black. Those are permanent until such time that you actually go and see a medic. It is possible to have your entire bar filled up with black, and there's a running joke or prank to make you accidentally do that, and then you fall down, you can't get up. You have to call somebody to help you out with medical skills. So, and also when you die, whatever you have equipped, whatever your weapon is and whatever your armor is, will also degrade. So it is possible for you to die, and then you wake up and you don't have any armor. So that's not good. But, we'll get into that later. So I'm here to explain cloning and insurance. Where would you like to begin? Let's talk about cloning. If something should happen to you, your clone will take over with all of the skills you had at the time you died. Though you will always have the option to respawn at the nearest cloning facility unless you've cloned there. No, hold on. Unless you've cloned there, you will emerge with many, many wounds. So basically, when you start doing missions or quests in an area, you want to find the nearest cloning facility and then make that your primary cloning facility. If you don't do that, then you will wake up with more wounds and more damage to your armor than you would have gotten if it was your primary cloning terminal. How often should I clone? You should clone yourself whenever you want the option to emerge from that particular location. Otherwise, you will appear at the closest cloning facility where you died. With many wounds, excuse me, you will also need to set up a new cloning location when you travel to a new planet because there is no interplanetary cloning. Do I need to clone every time I die? No, only when you want to have the option of reappearing at a particular location without lots of wounds, regardless of where you died. So if you die on a planet that has your clone stored, then you can choose to go to the nearest clone facility, or you can go back to the one that you cloned at. So Theed, for example, has a cloning facility. If we go there and we do the clone option at Theed, we then travel over to Karen, and we die in Karen, we could respawn in Karen and be closer to whatever it was we were doing, or we could choose to respawn in Theed. If we respawned in Karen, we would have a lot more damage to our person than we would if we were going to respawn in Theed. The downside of respawning in Theed is, we're far away from it. Okay, insurance is a better way of preserving the condition of your belongings in the event of your untimely demise. The return of nominally damaged insured items to a cloning facility fetches a much higher price with the cloning facility at which you choose to clone you choose to clone since you subsidize the item retrieval programs by purchasing insurance. So as I was getting to earlier, if you die and you are returned to a cloning facility, your items can become damaged. So your armor will lose durability. And your armor has a health just like you do. And if it gets to 0, then it's broken. You can't use it or wear it. And then you have to go and get new armor or new weapons. So you can insure your weapons. And if you respawn at the place where you do your cloning and insuring, then your items will take no or little damage compared to whatever would have happened if you were to die and clone to a non-cloned facility. So what happens to uncloned items? Your items will suffer a significantly increased decay rate when transported back to your clone. People like to be paid, and cloning facilities don't pay much for the recovery of uninsured items, so it stands to reason that uninsured items tend to not be cared for as much as the insured counterparts. Do I have to insure my items every time I die? Yes, insurance is only valid one time. If you want your items returned to you in a condition similar to you last saw them, then... Oh. Return to you in a condition similar to the last time you saw them. You'll have to insure them. You'll have to insure the item again. I'm going to hit Alt. Now if I hit Control and the scroll button doesn't do anything. Maybe Alt? Nope, that doesn't work. Must be in my key bindings.
Use the cloning terminal. You can do this through the radio menu, or you can just double-click. The cursor changes when over a usable item. Use the insurance terminal.
Okay, so I'm now stored my clone at this Imperial Star Destroyer, and I've insured my items. Which, coming back over here, if you die, your generic crafting tool and mineral survey and chemical survey device could be destroyed. Which means you wouldn't be able to make anything new. And the majority of the game is based on crafting, so you really need those tools. Now we're going to run up this hallway. Uh-oh.
If you're going down that hallway, you might want advance warning of what's down there. This is your radar.
Uh-oh. We're all going to die.
The red dots show potentially aggressive entities. Yellow dots indicate peaceful life signatures. You can also access an overlay map with Control M. Press Control M again to turn it off. You can zoom the overlay map using the mouse wheel while holding down the Control key.
So here we have our overlay map, and it actually stays oriented with the camera. So I think it's going to be necessary for me to kill this pirate. So if we mouse over him here, it says a bandit character. Now, we are on an Imperial Star Destroyer, but I think my character can handle this problem no problem at all.
Converse with the soldier.
That's weird. I was expecting... Oh, I see. Right over here is where the bandit is. This guy's saying, you can't be thinking of going down that hallway. Didn't you hear? Crazy pirate on the loose. We have an Imperial officer with a flamethrower. But, you know, I'm going to handle this pirate all by myself. You can't go in there. He cut them to pieces. He's crazy. So I have options here. Calm down. I'm sure that everything will be under control soon. So how do I get out of here and stop conversing? Let's go with that one. The only way through here is past him. Then I guess I'll have to go that way. Because I'm a super character, you know? I'm like Superman. Except not bulletproof. Wait, you'll need a weapon. This is against regs, but look. Just don't tell anyone here. Thank you. Sure, whatever. I'll stand guard from the other side of the room, okay? And whatever you do, don't let this maniac get angry. I got a knife. I didn't get a pistol? He gave me a survival knife. Didn't give me a pistol. So you double click on something and it'll equip it. And now you can see that we are carrying a survival knife here. So I'm actually using a Nostromo on this computer. And I've got hotkeys already because I was using this before.
The hallway is blocked by debris.
Oh no.
To destroy it, then proceed to the next room to face your enemy.
Double click. This is the combat queue, or at least it was. And then this was my enemy targeting bar here.
In combat, you can spend your health, mind, or action pools to invoke special attacks. The attack option on the radio menu will be the default attack for hostile creatures.
Get up, you.
Congratulations, the pirate has been destroyed. Now you can loot his corpse by clicking and holding your mouse on him until you get the radio menu option to loot.
Okay, here's the pistol. So click and drag. Alright. I just killed a bandit. And the Imperial Guard was scared. Maybe if I join the Imperial faction, I can, like, be the boss. You know, get rid of the Emperor. Probably don't need him anyway. Commoner. Good thing someone came along to kill that pirate. We've been trapped in here forever. Here's a stormtrooper. Now, granted, he probably would have missed, but I think I handled the pirate better. This is a seat. If you double click on a seat, well, you have to be close enough. You can sit. Yay. I'm sure glad that's over with, he says. Nothing over there. Good show in there. You're quite resourceful. Well, I stabbed him with a knife. I'd be even better with a little training. Combat really isn't my thing. Okay, well, let's see. Well, there's someone you should talk to right over there. An artisan trainer. Okay, building, crafting, creating, it's all in your hands. How can I help move you along in this profession? I am interested in learning a skill. Of course, I don't have any skill points. You may learn the following skills right now. Novice Artisan. Okay. Cost will be 100 credits to train you in Novice Artisan. Would you like to continue? Yep. You're exceptionally bright, student. Perhaps we shall work together again pretty soon. I don't know. I think you're going to be stuck on this Imperial Star Destroyer for a while. Can we start again? I'm interested in learning a skill. Sorry, we haven't quite caught up to the point where I can teach you anything else. Let's start again. What will I be able to learn next? Engineering 1, Domestic 1, Business 1, Surveying 1, and stop conversing.
Your first skill. There are many skills to master in your chosen profession, and there are advanced professions that only open up once you have mastered many skills. You can check your skills using the skills window. You can reach this with the skills button on the button bar, or by pressing Ctrl S. You can also check your character status after your fight.
It's like this.
The character sheet button on the button bar.
Boom.
Or Ctrl C. Proceed to the next room.
Character sheet. So this is my character sheet. Now, getting back to the health bar from before, we can have wounds. You see that I have 2 wounds to my constitution right here. And I will need to get that treated by a medic. Since I am going to be working on medic, if you remember back to when I was talking about the profession calculator and what's called the template. So my template was going to be a Master Artisan, Master Medic, Master Scout with a little bit of Marksman, and I would temporarily get some Brawler for intermediate to protect my range. And this is what they were talking about with the skill sheet. If you hover over, or no, if you click on one of these boxes, it will give you your skill modifiers. So I am now 20% better, or no, not 20%, 20 points better at armor customization and all of this. And these are the commands and abilities I've granted. So I can now build, because I'm an artisan, all of these items, even fireworks. But let's go ahead and get rid of that for now. Anything to loot? Nope.
Mission terminals like those to your left are located throughout the world. Whenever you want a quick adventure, you can always take a job from a mission terminal. You can also speak to NPCs and do tasks for them. There's one over there who has something for you to do.
I don't understand why you won't give me release documents too. So usually there's like a thing above their head. It's blue. No, he's a commoner. What took you so long to get here? The shuttle's ready to leave. Take these release documents to the quartermaster and get yourself off my space station. Oh, that's right. The Imperial Star Destroyer, back in the video, flew over to a space station around what looked to be Locke. Where is the quartermaster? What took you so long to get here? That seems to be broken. So I'll be shipped off to the space mines. That's not fair. I heard someone killed the pirate, and you're letting them go. Where is the quartermaster? Here are your release documents. Get moving. Quartermaster is just down the hall there. I was going to kill that pirate. It's not my fault. Someone beat me to it. And I still can't talk to him.
You cannot take a mission from this terminal. To take a mission, you will need to find a mission terminal on a planet.
So you can't talk to commoners, so there's no point trying. Stormtroopers don't really have a lot to say. And here's the quartermaster. Actually, let's open up the info and let's examine. Although in working condition, the view screen appears to be worn and in need of maintenance. The data contained inside can still be read. Alrighty. I see you have the proper document here. I'll just take those from you. Where are you sending me? You may use the travel terminal here and be on your way. And don't worry about the cost of transportation. The Empire will be picking up the tab on this one, because you set my ship on fire and nearly killed me. Oh, before we go, character sheet is this one. So before we go, something incredibly important, even if you don't do the tutorial, before you get to the ticket terminal, you need to come over here into your character sheet, click on statistic migration. Oh, can't talk. Okay, so you can use points all the way up to the point where you have 0 points left. But these are all of your stats. You'll notice that they're broken into groups of 3s, and there are 3 groups. There are 3 lines on your character thing. This is called the HAM bar. That's an acronym for health, action, and mind. So these 3 determine how your health bar works. These 3 determine how your action bar works. And these 3 determine how your mind bar works. Now this is a little complicated, and not everybody agrees on how you should set up your stats. But the way it works is the top one, or number 1 for each, so health, action, mind, determines what number you actually get over here. So it's a little hard to read, but it says my health is 600. So my health here is 600. So that means I have 600 hit points. So if we take all of these down, I have 1,800 points that I can distribute throughout. So the first one determines how many hit points you will, or not hit points, but how many points you will have in whatever respective bar. Your strength is your ability to automatically regenerate, is a base regeneration rate for the first stat. So strength for health, quickness for action, focus for mind. So if I have 600 hit points total and I've been knocked down to half health, then the higher my strength is, the faster my health will regenerate. Constitution is like an internal resistance. So if my constitution were 1 and I were hit for 100 points of damage, with constitution 1 I would take 100 points of damage. The higher the constitution rate, or the higher the constitution number is, the more internal resistance I have. So I'm not hit for 100 points. I could be hit for 70 points or 50 points or, whatever the math works out to be. So the higher the constitution rate is like wearing armor. So if I knock that up to 650, then it'll be like I'm wearing armor. So these 3 stats determine how this bar actually works. And for each stat. So I think it's more important to have the secondary stats maxed out because I will have higher regeneration rates and higher resistance. So now I've just got to deal with the 3 first ones. So I've got 1,050 here, 1,600. So let's actually bring that up to 1,000. I've got 150 points left. So I'll put there, that's just about good. Now, it's important that you do this migration now before you hit the terminal, because you will not be able to do this for free when you actually get into the game. Once you get into the game, you will be able to do a statistic migration, but you will have to pay a player to perform that action for you. So let's click on OK. Now this was done immediately. I still have that 2 wound, but 2 is pretty small. So I have 1,000 health, 600, 400. That's weird. 1,000 health. It said I had 1,000 earlier. Well, let's knock that down to about 800. And let's bring that up. That's 600. That's almost 500. Let's take that down. Going the wrong way. Wow, this must be an exciting video so far. I totally destroyed that pirate or bandit. That's pretty good. Now, how much health, action, and mind you have will really be more important for whichever professions it is that you're using. But since I'm going to be, with this template, using such a wide range of skills, I think this is a pretty good overall setting. So, we're going to close that. We're going to use that. So now these 3 symbols are relics from when the game was live. When the game was live, they had the jump to light speed expansion. So you could start the game and then become a pilot. But with the emulator, they have not yet implemented the jump to light speed. So we will not be able to become pilots. So these just drop you off in some random city. For the Imperial Navy. The Empire. Yeah, it doesn't even tell you what city they're going to. So I don't really think you want to try these. So this is Tatooine. Tatooine is pretty dirty. And, of course, is the home of Luke. You can always visit Tatooine when you want to, but I think these other 2 planets are in fact better for starter players. So if we come over here, we have Naboo, and then we have Corellia. I think Naboo is better than Corellia because every Corellian city is set up like a maze, and I can't really recommend it. I really do like Naboo, and particularly Theed. When I started the game on the live server, I started in Moina. And Moina is the swamp area from episode 1, where there is the big plot reveal. Padme steps out and says, "No, I am the queen, and she is my humble bodyguard." Well, that's near the area where that occurred, and it's super swampy, and there's water everywhere, and I didn't like it at all. Theed is actually the city where most of the movie took place, and it's beautiful. This is my favorite city in the entire game. So we are going to start there. Oh, it's also important to read all of these screens because they give you lots of really good details. Okay, so now we are at the beginning point for the game. It dumps you off. It doesn't tell you anything. You might be able to recognize that that's a mission terminal over there from the tutorial. And there are quite a few mission terminals there. But here I am, just a starting artisan. What should a starting artisan do? And this video, or this recording, has gone on for quite a bit. So I think this is a good point to break. And then we will do the progression from this point forward. So I'm going to try and do as much on camera as possible so that you will be able to watch with me. And goodbye for now. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, because that pirate, man, he's really something. So smash the like button for the pirate, and I will see you next time. Oh, by the way, let's get rid of all that and Alt. If you do want to quit the game, you can click on that button over there, and you can hit disconnect, or this game was designed by programmers. You can tell because there are slash commands for everything. So you can hit slash, that's /, and then quit. Okay. Seems I'm having a little bit of a update problem. Probably their screen recorder. Anyway, hit the like button for the pirate. Subscribe to keep up with this series. I'm going to be doing a Let's Play and tutorials for the vast majority of the professions, and you can see that there are actually quite a lot of professions. So there are not a lot of actual tutorials on how to play these professions. There are some you can find on YouTube, but I would like to expand that so that people can see what actually is required to get mastering and also what it's useful for. So again, hit the subscribe thing, hit the like thing, and goodbye.